Arsenal midfielder Albert Sambi Lokonga could be on the move this summer, either on loan or permanently, according to transfer news expert Fabrizio Romano. The Gunners sent Lokonga out on loan to Luton Town in the season just gone, and it seems unlikely that the Belgian will stay at the Emirates Stadium for the long term, even though his loan spell looked pretty impressive in the end. Speaking exclusively to Call Offside for his latest daily briefing column, Romano explained that Lokonga could leave temporarily again, or even in a permanent deal, depending on what offers come in this summer. The 24-year-old could surely be a tempting option for a number of clubs in England and Europe, even if he doesn't quite look like he has it in him to challenge for a place in Mikel Arteta's side. On top of that, it would be difficult for Lokonga, as Romano expects Arsenal to sign more midfielders, to mean there'll be even more competition in that area of the Arsenal squad next season. We've heard Albert Sambi Lokonga speaking publicly about his future and saying he doesn't expect to stay at the Emirates Stadium, Romano said. My understanding is that Arsenal are open to both loan or permanent deal proposals based on the fee or the player's preference. That will also be important. Lokonga is expected to leave again because Arsenal want to bring in a new midfielder and they've already got many players in that position. Arsenal surely need a busy summer to ensure they can close that small gap between themselves and Manchester City, so a sale like this could be important to help raise funds for top signings. Lokonga looked a big prospect when he first moved to North London, but it's fair to say the club have now raised their standards, so can't be carrying players like this anymore. While he featured regularly for Luton, Lokonga, who spent time out on loan at Crystal Palace last year, has struggled to nail down a place in the Arsenal team since joining the Gunners from Anderlecht in the summer of 2021. And ahead of his return to the Emirates, Lokonga has revealed that the club and his agent are looking into potential destinations for next year. Speaking to BBC Three Counties Radio via Luton today, Lokonga said, "For me, I had a discussion with Arsenal and the conclusion was the best thing for me was to leave the club, so now it's up to my agent and the club to find something. I still have a contract there, 1 year plus a 1 year option, so let's see what happens." While Lokonga has struggled to make an impact at Arsenal, there were high hopes for the midfielder when he arrived at the Emirates for a £17 million fee. Lokonga had made a big impression in his native Belgium with Anderlecht, where he came through the academy ranks, and he certainly impressed former Anderlecht head coach Vincent Kompany, who claimed Lokonga would be the next Yaya Toure. Speaking on Rio Ferdinand's 5 YouTube channel back in 2021, Kompany even revealed that he personally reached out to Mikel Arteta and Pep Guardiola to make them aware of Lokonga's potential. He said, "The first thing I did when I saw Sambi is I went to Mikel Arteta and also Pep Guardiola, but Mikel first, and said, 'You gotta watch this guy, he's the new Yaya Toure.' I'm not sure I'm doing him a favour saying this stuff. Look, you know what I like about Sambi, what Yaya did have, is he wants the ball no matter what. If the team is not doing well, give the ball to Sambi. Team doing well, give the ball to Sambi. He will never hide away from his responsibilities." Rob Edwards has been effusive in his praise of him, supporters have been similarly impressed, and Jurgen Klopp's comments before Liverpool's fixture against the Hatters in February succeeded in thrusting Arsenal's forgotten man back into the spotlight. Lokonga, when you see him playing and you think, oh, he's an Arsenal player and they loaned him, interesting. Lokonga has a beautiful feel for the game and displays impressive pass volume, pass selection and passing range. These in-possession qualities have always stood out when watching him. Despite playing in a Luton side that have one of the worst possession stats in the league, Lokonga's 52 passes at an 87.4% pass completion rate, 5.26 passes into the final third, 0.41 through balls and 0.93 switches per 90 fare very well compared to midfielders in the Premier League. But a lack of defensive drive was one of Lokonga's weaknesses coming out of Anderlecht and into Arsenal. This is why moving to Luton was a great opportunity to work on that side of his game. Players develop through the environments they train and play in, and Lokonga is already showing a better approach when out of possession. His incredible last-ditch block against Manchester United to prevent Bruno Fernandes from scoring is exactly the kind of defensive resolve that was missing from his game. The Belgian always had the physicality to excel at this and is now making 1.96 blocks, tackling 75% of dribblers and losing only 0.41 ground duels per 90. All of these figures put him among the best midfielders in the league. At Arsenal, Lokonga was predominantly used as the deepest midfielder, but he looks more comfortable playing alongside Barkley in a double pivot. His ability to dictate games while offering off-ball movement and pitch coverage makes him a better box-to-box option. These qualities could make him a realistic option to sit alongside Declan Rice and allow Martin Odegaard complete creative freedom. Although he is getting plaudits for his performance this season, the Belgium international says that he is not at his best level yet, but is slowly getting there. He will be well aware that to make it as a regular starter for Mikel Arteta, he needs to be quicker, faster and better at everything. But Lokonga's technical ability and attitude give him every chance of doing that. Arsenal fans have seen William Saliba return from his loan spell at Marseille to become a key player and will be hoping Lokonga can have a similar impact next season. What is also interesting to note are Lokonga's similarities to both Jorginho and Declan Rice. Indeed, as per FB Ref's player comparison model, the Arsenal midfielders are the 5th and 8th most similar players to Lokonga in the Premier League. But what are the similarities? While Lokonga doesn't come out on top in any of the stats, essentially he is a hybrid of both Rice and Jorginho. He boasts the same progressive nature as the former, and when it comes to tackles is just as active. That said, like Jorginho, he is far less likely to create goal-scoring opportunities, perhaps preferring a more cautious and safer approach with his passing. That isn't a bad thing, but if he is to return to Arsenal and play as an 8, that side of his game will need to improve. 1 goal and 3 assists wasn't a bad return for Lokonga, who came back from injury to make a real impact. The 24-year-old has now said goodbye to Luton with an emotional farewell to the Hatters. Lokonga thanked everybody at Luton and vowed to keep supporting the club from afar once he moves on. Lokonga received major praise from teammates, including Andros Townsend. Townsend suggested that Lokonga is some player. Teammate Elijah Adebayo admitted that it's been a pleasure to play alongside Lokonga, with defender Mads Joel Anderson adding my favourite player after seeing the midfielders' displays. Carlton Morris called Lokonga a top player, so it's clear that the Gunners' talent made a real impression during his time at Kenilworth Road. Whether that is enough to give him a future at Arsenal is unclear, but this loan move has surely at least put Lokonga in the shop window for a potential move elsewhere. According to Transfermarkt, Lokonga is currently worth around £12.7 million, although it's likely Edu will want to recoup as much of the £17 million paid for the Belgian in 2021 as possible if they were to sell him. So what's your thoughts? Should Arsenal sell or keep Sambai Lokonga? Leave it in the comments below for me to see, and please check out the next video on Arsenal's interesting transfer target.